Hey guys, some of you might remember this project that we did at the old farmhouse, that tap there in the center of the screen, and that wall was replaced, and this door that wouldn't slide at all, it just dragged, was repaired, and now it glides like a beautiful thing. However, this adjoining door that goes to the outside toilet doesn't roll at all. You can feel the rollers aren't working and it's dragging, and then it jams about there. We can't get it open. So it become a real pain. It was just dragging and making horrible noises, and it just got worse and worse. So same problem we had with the other door. It's recessed into that wall, which means you can't get the door off without moving that wall somewhat. So we had a theory that we might be able to just pull the bottom corner of that wall off, because we didn't want to take the whole one off like we did with the other door. So just sort of levered it off a little bit down there, got the unskilled labour onto it with a butcher tool, and just levered it off. There was a piece of rotten timber there that gave way pretty easily, and just sort of levered that corner, and then that allowed us to get the door off. Yay! So I took the door and had a look at it, and then behind that door was this glass door. So same as the workshop. However, the workshop, a glass door was handy. In this case, glass door on your toilet's not going to be real handy, is it? We're not going to be using that. So we decided to remove it, but it was shot. The frame had given up on it. The rollers had rusted solid, and it was just an absolute mess. That was really hard to get out, that one, as you could see. 12 times real speed here we're looking at, guys. So everything's taking 12 times longer than what it appears. So threw the glass one back out the back with all the other spare doors, and here's the outside roller door. You can see the problem. The rollers themselves are still in good nick, but whoever did this repair at some stage has just used nails, and the nails have slowly worked themselves out, and then they've started to drag on the runner, and you can see what a mess it's become. So they're all terrible. Nails. They obviously did that because the nails had flat heads, but it would have been wonderful for a couple of months, and then it would have started to become a problem. So don't really want to rebuild that frame. Really don't want to rebuild that frame. The runners are okay, but with all these farmhouse videos or all these farmhouse projects, we don't want to overcapitalize on time or money. We've talked about this before, because at some stage down the track, probably 10 years time, something like that, probably these buildings will just get demolished. It's just what happens. It's just what happens with these old buildings. It's quite possible it's going to happen, and if not, hopefully we'll be able to keep the buildings. But then when you come to sell, any money that you've spent on these old buildings is usually wasted. So it's very easy to overcapitalize, very easy to spend too much money or too much time on these old places. So we want to try and keep it to a minimum. So we brace the corners, because it wasn't too bad. It looks dodgy down the bottom there, but it's really not too bad. So just brace the corners. That'll stop that frame weakness. The rest of the frame's in good nick, as you could see. It's probably just the bottom's got wet on and off over the years, and that's sort of made it soft. So that'll fix that. Brace the corners. That one corner was shot. The other corner was okay, but braced that as well. Everything we do at the farmhouse, we want it to last at least 10 years. That's the thinking. So that'll keep that frame together for another 10 years, and then we put a nice new wide thick piece behind that, and then we'll use super long screws. He'd use tiny little nails, and we're going to use big long screws. They're like 8cm screws right through to that nice new wood. Faffing around a bit here to make sure that the rollers are in line. There's the WD-40. Someone asked last time on the other door, you should put some, they didn't ask, they told us, you should put some WD-40 on those rollers. Yeah, we did. we just didn't include it in the video. This time we did, just for you, whoever that was. So the runner's still in good nick, but just a lot of crap in there. You can see the mud wall on the left. So combination of bits flaking off the mud wall and bits off the broken wooden door, the glass door. So, and you know, a few years worth of rubbish in there. So got the air hose out. Can't really get in there very far, but the air can, so that was good enough. Be able to blow it all out, make it nice and clean. The runner seemed fine, didn't seem to be any problem with that at all. So some of you guys who've followed these videos might feel a bit sad about the thought that this house might get demolished eventually. It might not, but just purely from an investment point of view, if you buy an old house like this in Japan, you've got to be really careful. Don't spend too much money on it. In some countries, restoring an old place and spending money on it is an investment. In Japan, it's just not. So you've got to be really careful. So as long as it lasts, as long as the repairs we do last, you know, we want 10 years out of each repair that we do, so we don't want to touch that door again for 10 years. And as long as the cost's low, and this whole project cost about $5, because we had to buy a piece of wood and some screws, because we wanted some screws that were just the right length. So it was about $5 for that repair. So, and it just glides like a dream. One finger, the one finger test, there it is. Nice. So we'll do it before and after. This is what it was like before. You could use one finger if you're a big, hefty, fat person, and then it would just lock up there, and that was the end of it. It was just squealy, horrible, scrapey mess. So after a few hours, you might have noticed a few changes of t-shirts on the unskilled labourer there. This took a few days because we were busy. And it was about 35 degrees, guys. It was really hot. It was a horrible job. Job itself was okay. Just working in that heat is a bit much. 35 degrees and about 75% humidity. But the end result's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Yay. All good. More videos coming soon.